Welcome to another edition of Great Health, Abundant Happiness, and Outrageous Love.
So good to be back home with you.
I got my partner back, yes.
Yeah. I was away with my mama. I take her away every year for a mother-daughter trip. And we do it on her birthday.
Yeah.
We just got back today. And that is the only trip that I take without Jeffrey, to spend that
I keep hearing that song.
time
Reunited and it. Remember that one from the 70s?
Yeah, I totally remember. I love all the 70s music. So.
Hey, so we're back, and I guess we wanted to talk a little bit about, who are you taking your advice from? I was looking at some YouTube videos, and someone was giving advice. I'm gonna leave all the names off, and the person was giving advice about something that they've never done themselves. So I just
and a lot of relationship advice from people who have never had a successful relationship past, like a couple of months or a year.
Well, it's interesting. So I guess interested in your thoughts. I always like to, if I'm looking up to someone as a mentor or I'm trying to get advice, I'd always like to figure out, what did they do?
Right.
Even to the point where if it's not relationship advice, maybe it's someone who was a CEO and they did a great job and they did some great things.
Right.
And then I immediately look at, what happened in their personal life.
Mm-hmm.
Did they have a great relationship with their wife or their husband? Did they do a great job raising their kids? Did they have a great relationship there? I mean, those are the kind of things I start to look at. Because I don't know about you, but I'm always looking for like the whole package. If somebody does X and they do it really well, but everything else is a disaster, probably not good balance, and it's probably not going to be the best advice.
Exactly. I mean, if you're looking for advice on anything to do well, whether it's skiing or relationships, golf, tennis, business, sales, you obviously want to choose somebody who's been really successful at it, right?
Right.
And then what you're saying, which I really like, is you're sort of looking for the whole package. That somebody who's got a good personal and a good professional life. So how are they balancing that and rounding that out? And
that's the point, because they may have like their I'm just going to make this up. Let's say I wanted to learn about stock picking, and they're just the best stock picker on the planet, and Warren Buffett, for instance, and you could still learn something from them about stock picking. I guess what I'm saying is the next thing I look at is what else is around them, because you do want a balancing act. Because whatever it is, whether you want to be a good golfer or skier or a stock picker, hopefully that's not the only thing you want to do.
Well, exactly. And to take it a step further, you want somebody who's good, who's doing well in business, successful, who's successful in their personal life, but also successful physically, right? So if you're going to see somebody who's really, really successful, but their home life is terrible, they're in great shape physically, and they're in great shape business-wise, but they have the home life has blown up, obviously, you're a little bit leery of taking their advice. Whereas, same thing, if their relationship is great and their business is great, but oh my gosh, they're, so unhealthy, again, you need to really seek out people who embody all of the qualities, somebody who's been able to balance it and follow them. That's what we do. And the reason that we're talking about this is, there were some people giving some relationship advice recently who have not even had a relationship, and there are people out there, life coaches. We encountered people that we used to know pretty well, a couple that divorced, and after they divorced, she decided to go back and get trained to be a life coach and a marriage counselor. And I thought, well,
we knew the whole story, so you don't need to dig in, but it was
like
you wouldn't be taking advice from this person.
You definitely would not be taking life coaching advice or marital advice from this person. So, it's really interesting. There are plenty of people out there who are wonderfully qualified. It's just dig in and make sure that the people you're getting advice from have been successful at the things that you want to be successful at. That's really, really important.
Yeah, I think, and that's the whole point.
Yeah.
It's like anything. whether you're paying for the advice or you're just taking advice. I mean, it's your life. You better be getting the correct advice. You just have to do your research. I mean, that's all it is, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and and by the way, I guess what I'd say too, even if you do your research and the person looks like they have it all, you may not fully agree with, how they got it done. I mean, they may be telling you about something. Look, this is how I did it. I did A, B, and C. And you'll look at those steps and say, hey, that doesn't fit in my lifestyle. So you obviously have to make decisions there too. Just because somebody looks like they've done what you want to do and they've been very successful doesn't mean it's perfect for you either, right?
Well, exactly. I mean, just taking you and I, for example, and we do give a lot of relationship advice, and we feel that our 29 years in February of marriage, warrant that we've got some really great experience. However, with that said, some people might not like the advice that we give, and that might not be the relationship that they're looking for. I mean,
True, right.
Our relationship advice is really based on having an extraordinary, relationship and love, more than what you've ever expected. And in order to have anything like that that's so grandiose, you have got to really focus on it and make it, very, very important. And, there are some couples who really like to have an independent life and live solo, side by side in a marriage like that. Right. So, get advice, like Jeffrey says, from people who are doing what it is that you want out of life.
Right.
Right.
And, in business, there are a lot of people out there looking for advice on business and how do I start a business, how do I make money, how do I balance the books, how do I sell, how do I do the marketing. You got to look and hopefully it's someone that's actually run a real business before too. And if it's starting something from the ground up, did they start from the ground up or did they just dive into a company that was off to the races?
That's a great point.
I say this all the time, with the internet boom, and I was back at Quest back in the day, and I think I hired 700 sales reps in 9 months, and everything was up and to the right. We did such a great job, but I also was quick to say, look, we didn't really do anything that special. Everything was just going gangbusters. People were just wheeling servers into hosting facilities and buying up internet left and right. So, sometimes people dive into a business or an opportunity at the right time, and that's good. God bless them. It happens. Mm-hmm. But I usually give people a lot more credit too, where they make things happen where it's really tough. What's the old saying? It's real easy to pilot the ship in calm seas, but in very stormy seas, that's when you got a really good captain when they can get you through it. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And I would say that goes the same for a relationship too. When everything's going hunky dory and and things are just smooth sailing, it's very easy. But when the tough times roll in, and Jeffrey and I have had plenty of them, in our relationship, that's when you either get closer together, or you can blame each other or whatever, get further apart. And for you and I, every adversity, every tragedy that's ever been a part of our marriage has only brought us closer together,
because we work hard at it too.
We work hard at it.
It's a lot of work,
and
right?
we both work on each other's hearts together. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, that helps.
Wishing you great health, abundant happiness, and outrageous love. And it's so good to be back. Missed you so much.
I missed you.
And if you would subscribe down below and like this if you like it. If you don't, you don't have to like it. That's it.
All right, guys. We'll see you.